What's up, YouTube? We're going to be doing a sort of a knife review here. This is the SlySteel Sharktooth Tactical Tanto, made by Tops. Open this up here. This is a really cool, innovative knife. So we've got our Kydex sheath. Does have the adjustable belt clip here, so it's nice. You can just stick that on your belt. Any different hold variation that you want. Fits in there really securely, almost too tight actually. But it's a nice sheath. I like it because it's got this top edge. Some of these Kydex, they're a lot wider than they need to be, but this one is not much wider than the actual knife itself, so it's pretty economical with the amount of space it takes up. So I like this sheath. Normally I'm not a big Kydex fan, but this is a good sheath for this knife. Okay, the knife itself is 1095 high carbon steel and does have a Dur coating on it in coyote or beige, tan, whatever you want to call it. I have added, these are micarta handles, but I have added some tennis racket wrap and electrical tape to it. And I know some of you might say that detracts from the appearance of the knife, and it does a little bit, but I say this every time in my knife videos, that I have large hands, and a lot of these handles aren't very ergonomic, and they're thin. You can tell this one's especially thin in certain areas. So I need something to beef it up, give a little more purchase and grip on the knife. Also, you can see it's got this hole here for the index finger. And it's not a perfect circle. It's kind of oval shape or oblong, and it does have I won't say a sharp edge, but it's got a hard edge to it. So there is a bit of a 90-degree on that. And when your finger is holding it like this at an angle and there's pressure, it's going to rub and it's going to irritate your finger. It could actually hurt you if you're doing something really rough with the knife and popped your finger and it scraped it against the side. So that's why I've added the tape there and the grip to it, just to help soften that up, and it does help a lot. Other features of the knife, it does have some pretty aggressive jimping back here. So you can see where the thumb fits in there. It's I don't know. I mean, it is good. It doesn't need to be that aggressive, I don't think. They probably could have done it a little bit differently. I do like that thumb indentation, but you almost don't even really need it the way the knife is designed. Your finger could easily just rest up there. But it works. And then of course you've got this finger guard, which is patent pending according to SlySteel. There has been some controversy about this finger guard because in some states and municipalities there are laws against brass knuckles, or knuckles of metal as they call it. This kind of harkens back to the old World War I combat knives that had the brass knuckles built into the knife. Now those were specifically meant for tactical offensive applications, for self-defense and hand-to-hand combat type things. This finger guard is not meant for punching and striking people. It's just not what it's for. It's actually concave here. It doesn't have any type of ridges or anything like that that would aid in inflicting damage when punching. So the purpose of this particular finger guard is to allow you to open your hand and still possess the knife. Any other type of knife, if you open your hand, it'll just drop out of your hand, obviously. But this knife, stay in your hand, and it also protects your fingers. So if you're doing certain tasks, if you've ever skinned your fingers on something, this finger guard will protect your hand. You can also, in addition from holding it like this, you can put all 4 fingers in the rear part of the finger guard. And I have large hands, like I said, and they still fit in there. Not well, but if you had chubby fingers, they may not fit. My fingers are pretty thin. And you can also do that with the ice pick grip as well. If you wanted, you could put your pinky in there. That doesn't feel as good, but you can hold it like that. On the pommel section, I guess, you do have a lanyard hole here. And then you've got a striking edge. It's not sharp, it's dull. It's kind of almost like a flathead screwdriver feel to it, which I don't know how well, it probably wouldn't work well because it's too angled for a screwdriver, but the purpose of that is basically a glass breaker. Obviously you could use that as an offensive weapon for striking things, crushing, chopping, things like that. So, you know, if you're needed to break something, that's definitely the tool you'd want to use. The blade itself, very sharp. Again, this is 1095. It's got this kind of, I guess it's a swedge, or it's like a false edge up here. So I wouldn't say this is the best batoning knife by any means, but you could baton with it. I haven't really figured out what this piece is for here. It's kind of got a like little half circle drilled out. So I mean, I guess if you're piercing something, that's to stop it from running down, since it really has no handguard or anything to protect your fingers. If you did pierce through something, it would catch it right there. So I guess that's what that's for. And on SlySteel's demonstration video, they do show this cutting through a hood of a truck. So it's whatever metal car hoods are made out of. It was an S10, I think. They were stabbing through it, and the tip didn't even bend. So I mean, this thing could stab through metal. It's about as durable as you can get. So it's incredibly durable and potentially devastating weapon. You know, I'm not a big tactical weapon type guy, and I don't necessarily think this is meant to be pure tactical. If it was, I would think the blade would be a little bit bigger. The blade's less than 5 inches. So, and it's also very thick, or very wide, I should say. The thickness, I believe, is 3/16, and the width, I mean, that's 2 knuckles of my finger wide. I'm not sure the exact width there, but it's pretty wide. And you know, if you're stabbing something with that, it's going to leave a huge puncture hole. I really like these straight edge tantos because you can get in there and you know, you can work this second edge point of the tanto and scoop things out, make holes and divots with that. Whereas with a roach belly style, you're just kind of limited with that point as far as what you can do. And also the straight edge has other uses as well. Obviously not the best skinning knife, but you would go towards something else if you're trying to skin game. You could with this, don't get me wrong, but this is not the knife you're going to set out to skin things with. But I do think this could be a good bug out knife if you want to get into that, because it has survival plus self-defense applications, and as a utility knife as well, just for heavy-duty cutting tasks like that, woodcraft and things. It's going to do really well. Again, it's going to protect your fingers. It does weigh a little over a pound, so it's pretty heavy for a knife. Full tang, obviously construction here, so nothing's gonna snap on it, I don't think. It's just a great knife. I haven't really used it for much. I think I've cut some packages open. I haven't tested it yet, so I can't say for sure from personal experience how well it does, but I've worked with a lot of knives over the years, so I kind of know, based on how things look and feel, what they're made of, how they'll perform. But maybe in the future we'll do some testing on it and report back on how this thing holds up. The pricing on it, on their website right now, which is SlySteel.com, it is $190 or $189, and they said that it's $40 off the normal price. So that's one thing that made me purchase this, because it's discounted from its normal pricing. And I think for a knife like this, under $200 is a pretty good deal for the knife and the sheath. But for some people, this isn't the knife that they would like, and I can understand that. Some people don't like the finger guard, they don't like the tanto style, they don't like the width of it. It's just not going to be for some folks. Others will be attracted to this knife for different reasons, some of which I've already mentioned. One thing to keep in mind, though, is you need to know the legal status of knives with metals of knuckle in your area before purchasing this or before carrying it, because it may be illegal to carry this knife because it'll be considered brass knuckles. So I even talked to SlySteel or Tops about that, sent them an email, and they said that their attorney is aware that due to the enclosed tang, that this could be considered a brass knuckle type weapon. So that company, I don't know why they haven't put any notifications on their website about it, alerting their customers, because this isn't sold as brass knuckles or anything like that, but yet it would be classified as brass knuckles. So I think that they should put some sort of notification on their site informing people of that, so that they can be conscientious of it when purchasing it. But just make sure, like if you're in California or New York or really anywhere, that you know whether or not it's legal to carry this. You can own it in a lot of places, but as far as carrying it, it may be illegal. So make sure to look up your local area's laws on knuckles of metal before purchasing this knife. Other than that, I appreciate the views and comments. Make sure to like and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.